Hey everyone, the professor here, and we are going to jump into crude oil analysis to get you ready for those of you that are trading the Australian and then getting you ready for the London session as well. I'm actually going to give you all of my zones, but before I do that, a huge shout out to all of you who watched today's morning video and made some money on crude oil. Thank you so much for your support. We just hit 1K views on that video. Now you might be saying, so what's the big deal? For a small channel and creator like me, this is the first time that in under 11 hours, one of my videos hits 1K. So I'm thankful. I'm extremely grateful for all of you. And for me, it'll be a small W, a small win in finally breaking that threshold of 1K in under 12 hours. So I hope I continue to deliver massive value. And again, to the members in our members group area, thank you so much for your continued support and dedication. And I'm glad to see so many of you prospering as well. And since we're on the topic, I'm going to leave a few more spots open for tonight. If you want to jump into our Diamond membership area, again, for a price of a cup of coffee, $4.99 a month, you can have access to some additional content, some mentoring, some coaching, and even access to our private chat. So click that join button below or the link in the video description area. So let's jump into our crude oil analysis here. Now I am giving you these zones, and these are the zones that you are going to play with regards to if you are trading over the next 12 hours. And what I want to do is I want you to show you how prices kind of reacted. And I am sitting on the 4-hour chart, and I am going to walk you down a couple of time frames because these zones are meant for you to catch. And again, we are scalping in our group. These zones are meant to catch 10 to 20 points or pips if you do nothing else. If you just enter buys or sells based on support and resistance, just one small wick like this in itself could get you that each time. And if you do that 3 or 4 times in one day, you're actually going to total what many of our members are doing, 20, 40, 60 pips a day, and that is more than enough. So I wanted to kind of give you these areas here, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go a step further as we walk down just to kind of show you how, let me grab a circle here, how these areas will react, okay? Will react enough to give you that. Now, you know, for those of you that are trading more long-term, again, in these zones, they're usually going to be about 40 to 50 points in each one. For example, from here to here, we're looking at, this one's a smaller zone, we're looking at about 149 points here, okay, from 85.17 roughly to 86.35. So again, plenty of opportunities to definitely catch crude oil. And again, depending on where you go, from the middle of this zone to the middle of this zone, 171 points. Trust me, you should be able to catch 20 points each and every time as long as you are on the right side of the trade. And I want to talk about a minute how to be on the right side of the trade. Well, many of you cannot hedge because maybe you're on futures accounts or you just have never learned how to hedge. So you want to begin to put yourself in an advantageous position when price gets back into these areas. So I'm going to kind of start where price is right now. And if you can see here, right, this is an intermediate zone because we've had prior wicks rejecting this zone here. Now this candle closed above. So if we come back, which we kind of did with this wick right here, we should expect price possibly to begin to climb back up. Now again, we are talking market just reopened 22 minutes ago. We may not see a lot of movement. Keep in mind that any crazy news that may come out at the last minute, of course, what's going on in the Middle East and everything else could obviously spike crude oil as it did today. And that was a wonderful thing for both our sells and our buys in our zones. So I just want you to work these zones. And if price comes back up to this area, then I want you to decide where do you sit with regards to your risk management. Now here, if I was going to throw a fib level from here down to this wick, right, I can see that this 80, we're already above the 61, and we've rejected near the 88.6. So at this point, you have to ask yourself, okay, are you better just waiting to see if price will climb a little higher to just grab back again into this area of resistance? Now you're getting it at a cheaper price, so you can leave an entry, something like this, where if you say, okay, I do want to short it up here, your stop loss should really be right above these wicks and taking it back down to this level, right? So you still give yourself almost a 3.5 to 1 risk to reward ratio, and that's really where you want to be. Now, vice versa, if price comes back up, then what you should be looking for is some type of reaction like this, where price comes down into the zone, touches it, breaks it, retest it, and then we continue up to our next zone, which would be 88 if we get that far. Okay, so this is based on a 4-hour time frame, and that's how it looks. And if you throw a Fibonacci level from this high down to where this thing wicked down here, then if you base it on that, you can see where the 61.8 is right here. Okay, right near our zone. Remember, zones are never perfect, they're areas. So this would be a possible area at the top of the zone where maybe you would look for a short sell opportunity to get you that 10 to 20 points. Okay, depending on the time frame that you're trading in. So let me lower this here. That's on a 4-hour level. Okay, now if we drop this on a 1-hour time frame, now we begin to see price action a little bit better. So we can see here on that first fib level that we drew that we've rejected this 88.6, and we might be coming back down to this area. So in this particular case, okay, I'm going to get rid of this arrow. I'm going to get rid of this Fibonacci level. I'm going to get rid of this Fibonacci level that we had, and if you need it, you can go back and rewind the video. I'm going to do a Fibonacci now from this low to this high. And now we begin to see, okay, the 61.8, which I talk about in the video that I'll leave at the end of this video, is all the way down here, right? I always like for price in this value. This wick here does concern me that we may be coming back down for the liquidity purposes of that candle right there, but that would be a simple, we break below, we retest, and then we come back down. So we can play either side of this, okay? Again, so if you are going to be sitting on a sell, you want to see a closure of a 1-hour candle below this, possibly come back up to retest, and then dropping back down into this area. If you feel like you want to scalp some points off of this zone, very tight stop loss, and then possibly grabbing your 10 to 20 points back up. So the whole reason why I'm making this video a little bit shorter, and again, if you're brand new here, and if you're getting some value from these videos, you can definitely stop watching for 1 second. You can go down below and you can support me and the value you're getting on somebody actually teaching you. My videos will never be about entertainment. It will just be about giving you value. And if that resonates with you, if that's important to you, hit that like button for me. I would appreciate it. And if you're brand new and you're not yet subscribed, why aren't you subscribed? Go down below, hit that subscribe button, and then more importantly, when that little bell jiggles, hit that little bell so you can be notified of all new videos that I will put out. And I'm trying to do 1 or 2 shorter videos per day to just give you value. Now, I've studied and researched crude oil. That's why I'm so profitable when it comes to crude oil. But I know we also have newer traders that have come onto the channel. So I promise you, I will be dedicating some time once a week to doing an evaluation of, for example, Euro USD and some of the other pairs that I think newer traders should be trading versus more volatile pairs like oil and the indices, especially when you start off with a small account size. So I promise you I'll be giving you that value as well. So what I wanted to do here is I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these fib levels to just leave the chart clean again so you can kind of see that I just wanted to give you these levels. These levels work. Trust me, they do. You just have to decide your risk and where are you going to wait at these levels. And just because you get stopped out on a 4 or 5 point loss, let's say on a buy, keep watching the charts as we did this morning. Some folks took a small loss on the way up On a sell that we had, I made it very tight for those folks that were leaving large stop losses. And what did crude oil do? It turned right around and tanked over 100 points. So luckily, in the members group, we talked about it. People jumped back in and grabbed massive points and went down to a level of support that we had shown everyone, and then price bounced up and then caught massive pips or points going back up. So that's the beauty. Crude oil is in a very volatile time, just as everything else is, because of all the news overseas. But what I love about crude oil is that it will follow support and resistance 90% of the time, and I will take that 90% of the time each and every time. So I'm giving you zones. If you want more videos like this, that I keep it short and sweet and just give you zones, not only on crude oil, but for all the other pairs as well, go down to the comments below and type the word zones. And if I get enough people that say zones in the comments, I'll dedicate, an hour-long video, maybe on the weekend, where I'll talk about 6 to 10 different pairs. And all I would do will give you the zones that I would play off of for the rest of the week. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Happy trading if you're trading tonight. I don't trade during the night sessions. I wait until the U.S. session, but I understand because we're in different time zones, that might be your day session. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.